and welcome to another SH Figuarts review. Today is Captain Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean's Dead Man Tell No Tales. I've not seen the movie yet, so don't spoil it for me. I've seen the first four, and I enjoyed all four of them. So there you go. So yeah, this is I guess it's just a one-off. There's no, Will Turner or Bosa or Squid Octopus Face Man and Blackbeard and whatever. So it's just this, and the box is stylish. Got this whole golden black pirate thing going on, and you have this sort of foggy silhouette of the Black Pearl. Yeah, it looks great and all, but it does cover up all the details behind here. And while they haven't covered up the two faces, which is the most important part when picking up one of these, because you do print it wrongly or messed up anything, it does cover up so much of this that you're not really sure what you get inside if you just see this in the shops. On the back it does show you some of the accessory details on the corners there, but it would be much nicer if you just actually see the stuff there. And so this box is a little bit not bulky, but it's ballooning, and because it's a pretty tight fit, everything inside. So open it up. You have a Jack Sparrow pose on one of the side panels, and the other side just extends his hand. And that is a photo of the actual actor, which I haven't seen that in a while. Usually they've replaced it with the figures now because they're so proud of their figures. They're just like, okay, the front picture is still going to be the figure. But no, they've actually put Jack Sparrow there. So pull that out. Have a black, and of course the instruction sheets inside. So here's a quick look at the instruction sheet. Ooh, what's that? Well, I don't have any autofocus on this. Blah 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 blah. And there's quite a lot of English on this because, as always, this is a licensed sort of Western character, and much like older SH figure, the flap goes all the way back. So yeah, in here, let's open this up. Does open quite easily, and nothing bounces all over the place. And the hand section actually has an extra plastic covering there to make sure the hands don't fall out, like this sword. Apart from the fists already attached to his body, his hands also include hands with details and the rest of the other open hand details going right down to molded little edges around the fingernails. And the right hand is fully closed, it's molded shut, whereas the left hand, the thumb and the first finger can actually split open to hold more items. Left and right sword holding hands, where the hands actually tilted slightly forward to make it a more dramatic sword holding pose. Last pair of posing hands, with the left one doing his sort of wiggly hand movement when he's walking around, and the right hand is also able to hold on to the compass, both the closed and the opened ones. With the mentioned rum bottle, it's a single piece of transparent plastic molded. There's a little bit tip there, makes it look like it's got a hole, but it is a single solid piece. And then we have the sword that was also just mentioned. This is made out of if you've had any of those Lego swords, you know how this would feel. It's slightly soft, but yeah, bend too much and it will snap. Not really too much details, just a standard piratey sword. You also have the compass. This one's in the opened position, and it's made out of a more rubbery plastic so it doesn't break. There are molded details from back to front, and there's also it in the closed position. Again, a soft-ish material. Also has an alternate head. One of them is looking slightly to his left, and in order to swap the head pieces, you simply pull off the top of his head, pull his face off, find John Travolta. Okay, you put this head on. It's not fitting on very well. This is, what's wrong with it? Something's wrong with it. Yeah, the second head that I have doesn't want to fit. It's very tight fit. There you go. Just push it in and get the hairpiece, and then stick it back on. And now he's constantly like, what's going on? And of course, he also has his captain's hat right here, and that looks pretty simple. There is a way to put it on, exact right way around. You can't just put it around anywhere you want. So you just follow around the edges there and find the right one, the correct one, and just stick it on. And if you get it right, just right, it should fit in there very snugly and not fall off. So that's pretty good. Finally, you have the sword sort of strap, this old belt design going on. It's made out of a very soft material on the strap. The sword itself here is made out of very hard plastic that will definitely snap if you try to bend it. So take the hat off and stuff, and let's see. In order to get this on, I think I need to get it around the head. I'll get the hairpiece off and probably make it easier. Oh, and under the hair, which is all made out of soft material, we get this back on. Yeah, now he has his sword strapped there. He's looking slightly worried, looking to his left. Come on, stay in there. And I can put this hand like so, so he's reaching for his sword. There you go. On with articulation, he does have some limitations due to the shape of his clothes and etc. So because you got the double head joint moving forward, backwards can't go too far because the head does get in the way, sideways, sideways. And rotation does go all the way around, but it gets really tight. Yeah. There you go. I can actually move this neck as well. Whoops. There you go. Yeah. Oh. Whoa, whoops. If you move the neck too far back, you can see it actually pops out of the chest and makes a really ugly sort of slash there, so that's not very nice. So be mindful when posing. You don't want a big hole in his chest, or unless you do. Hair articulation. This is a separate piece on a little ball joint, so it has some articulation. Back here also has you can see all these individual pieces. There's a hinge here that moves it up. These are just soft rubber pieces attached to the main headpiece area. Body wise, double joint for the shoulder with a hinge, so you can rotate his arms just a little bit. Can it out? No, can't come out. Arm goes up, full rotation technically. That's cool. Double. Well, actually no, single. Yeah, single elbow joint. And there is rotation at the elbow because the clothing does get in the way because you've got a triangle cut sleeve. Be careful when moving the arm back in to the straight position because the elbow can get caught on the rest of the clothing. Ball peg and swivel joint for the hands, but of course again a lot of articulation limitation here because of the sleeves. They do get in the way, so that can get quite annoying. Torso is a bit stiff but sturdy. Move back, forward, you can still sit, yep. The entire jacket is made out of very soft material. Down, leg goes up, forward, backwards, sideways. Can Jack Sparrow do a right? Can. So, single knee joint. Foot 90-degree toe joint, and foot goes up, back, sideways, sideways. So he is, for the bulk of stuff on his clothing, he is very posable. So that in terms of articulation, this is a pretty good figure. Jack Sparrow is a pretty good figure. The face print on mine is pretty excellent, and if you're lucky enough, you should get the same quality control as this figure. Both faces are very lifelike, and the digital printing, the little dots are hardly noticeable. Comparing this to one of the earlier figures where they have real human faces, such as the first Bruce Lee figure and some of the earlier Star Wars figures, the detailing on this face is much nicer, and I think overall it's improving. Could be due to the darker skin, but even the Mace window I had before, there was still some noticeable sort of digital markings, you know, where the printer landed onto the figure's face. So you got a little bit of ink and dots, and I really can't notice them on this at all. There's also some nice printing and painting details on the face, such as his scar. That doesn't look like it's printed on, that looks like actually painted details. So his face is a combination of digital printing and traditional sort of toy plastic paint job going on. The body details are always also very nice molding and sculpting. Lots of lines in the clothing to make it look very natural. The paint job on top of it is also excellent, with shadowing as well as little shades here and there to make it look realistic. The jacket is surprisingly flexible and doesn't feel flimsy at all. This is not a figure that feels like it will break after a while. Usually when you have a figure at this scale where they're using soft material, you're thinking, is this plastic gonna crack or break or wear out after some time? But this doesn't feel like it. Feels durable, feels really good in hand to touch, probably due to the matte finishing that they've given this plastic. Speaking of matte finishing, down at the legs there are a few areas where there's a few shiny lines here and there on my figure's legs, probably where the matte finishing didn't reach, and they also have the spraying it or treating it, so that's a little bit annoying. There's just two shiny lines on the leg that just kind of sucks. The accessory wise, the figure does feel fairly complete. The run buttons is, you know, thematically correct with this character, as well as having an open and closed compass is really good. Having a sword, of course, is necessary, and having the sword pouch is good, but although I would have preferred if that sword was removable from the pouch, although that could be too thin of plastic to make it durable, but oh well. What is missing from this is, I know it's not based on that movie, but it would be nice if there was a black pearl in a bottle. Luckily we can just get a Lego piece that's pretty much a good size for it, but I would much rather prefer him having a bottle of the tiny little black pearl in it. That would be really awesome accessory to have, but we don't have that. And I do know previously when Madfx had released their version of Jack Sparrow, I believe the figure is not as lifelike as this one. However, that figure did come with a display piece. The display piece looked like a part of a wrecked ship, or just on top you had the black flag and the top of a boat, maybe assimilating the end at World's End where they're fighting on top of the boat in the storm. But they had a nice display piece, which is very compatible with this figure if you already have that. So, but then again, if you have that figure, then getting this one isn't that necessary unless you just want to upgrade the figure, because articulation wise, joint wise, the overall look and feel of this figure does seem much better than the Madfx one. And of course you have to remember that Madfx figures tend to have weak joints that break a lot of the time, which is, you know, a worry for most people, whereas this figure in my hand feels much more durable. So yes, overall I like this figure a lot. I don't really care about getting any of the other figures unless they got some more, I don't care about Will Turner or Elizabeth Swann, any of those. But if they do decide to release one or two more Pirates of the Caribbean figures, perhaps some of the more colourful characters such as, undead pirates, or some of the monsters and, the people on the boat, the sea creature characters, I can't remember their names. That would be interesting to have, but regular characters aren't interesting. Unless people really want a mini Keira Knightley. That's something people want, right? So I'm rambling on now. Subscribe, suggest, and comment below. Hope you enjoy the video. Take care, have a nice day, and why is the rum always gone? If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, please click the like button and share this with any other people. Perhaps you know a friend who wants to pick up this figure but isn't sure before checking out the review. So be sure to share this video with that person, or any other fans of Pirates of the Caribbean or figure collectors in general. As always, you can support this channel by making sure ad block is turned off, because toys do cost money. And if you don't want to do that, you can always head over to the Patreon link in the video description below. Any little helps, sharing the video, liking the video, or just telling people about this channel is very helpful. Thanks a lot for watching this video. Take care, have a nice day. I'll see you guys soon. And why is the rum always gone?